What's going on, YouTube? This is Brian from Rhythm and Gaming, coming at you with a Monster Hunter Wilds build video. Today, I want to be talking to you about the group skill Fortify and why it's actually really valuable and something that you should consider running. So, this should never be your bread and butter set. So you should not always be hopping in to every single hunt wearing, these pieces. And the reason for that is you actually, are gonna lose out versus building for, a skill, or rather just a bunch of pieces that can just slot better skills. Because pretty much your best choice for this is the Arc Vulcan A set specifically, because the B set doesn't have Fortify, it has Diversion, which is a, much less useful skill. Depending on your playstyle, for some people Diversion might be really good in a co-op if you're just, trying to like shield everything or something to that degree, or if you're playing in single player where it kind of just doesn't matter because you're single player anyway. But yeah, so Fortify is a really important skill to be running if you can find yourself in situations when you cart. So you never want this to be like your bread and butter set, like I said before. Like, you don't want to jump into every hunt with this. You want to actually have a different set with, similar, like a similar build. Like, you're not going to be losing all of your skills, but like as you can see, when I go from here to the Fortify set, I can't slot Agitator or Counter Strike. I could still slot Counter Strike, but the 20% attack boost you get after 2 carts, I believe it's 10% attack from 1 cart, which isn't tremendous, but at the end of the day, it's one of the bigger buffs that you have access to with all of these armor skills, believe it or not. And ironically, it is from carting. So running a Fortify set using the Arc Vulcan pieces is really good. Now, there is other pieces too. As you can see, I'm running this Ajarakan mail, which I do think the pieces of Resentment are good, especially, if you have this set on, that's because you got hit, right? So you're probably going to get hit again, and then you get the Resentment going, which is pretty good for a rarity 6 piece. But this really could just be the Arc Vulcan A piece, right? In fact, let's take a look really quick. I'm already at Gemma. So, alright guys, so let's take a look at the Arc Vulcan Greaves A set, okay? So, I would never recommend wearing more than like maybe 2 pieces of this. You could definitely rock 3. In fact, for my set, 3 is probably more optimal than Resentment, looking at it. Weakness Exploit doesn't really matter for the Hunting Horn, because you don't really crit like any of your big attacks, and the same thing with your with the gun lance, because all of those like explosive stuff doesn't crit. But the elemental absorption might be neat. So honestly, elemental absorption is kind of not worth it. It's just like a defense boost, which, yes, if you're want this to be like the King Comfy set, then go for it. Play the game in a way that's fun for you. So if you want to have this like like never cart kind of set, then you probably could rock this whole set as just like your, okay, I carted, I'm gonna put this on, right? Because then you even get the hasten recovery level 2. So that's something to consider. Like, my set is definitely not a be all end all. I'm not coming at you telling you that you should be running, my mixed set exactly. Mine is right now fighting to be a Hunting Horn set / a Gunlance set, which, like I said, they do a lot of stuff similar, but that's why I would really rather have the burst boost at level 2 and just switch to this, with the 2 pieces, and just as needed. Because if you're fighting something that's really easy and you're never gonna cart, then you're just never gonna cart. But if you cart, it's really nice to have. Let's take a look at all of the pieces that have Fortify, just to see if there's anything that's worth building with. As you saw in my mixed set, I am currently using, where are they? I believe it was rarity 6. Hello? There it is. Ajarakan. So, Ajarakan pieces are okay. I wouldn't really like say any of them are amazing. You're always gonna have to deal with the fact that these are A slots, so they're always going to be worse slots. And that's just kind of the reality. But the good news is the buff is so tremendous from running Fortify that it's kind of always worth it to think about it. See, I even have this whole set here. Oh no, that's because I'm a silly guy. This one has Fortify, so you could run this, right? These pieces. I mean, if you're playing single player in Palico Rally, it might be good. You know, it might be a good skill. Agitator's really not a bad skill. So these actually, unironically, is probably a really good piece right there. Level 2 Agitator, level 1 wide range, especially if you're playing in co-op, right? And really nice thing about running a skill like Fortify if you're playing in co-op is you can feel a little better going back into the hunt if you're one of the cards, because you're at least coming back with more attack and more defense. And arguably some of the biggest buffs in the whole game, aside from, you know, running multiple, you're literally running multiple skills to get a 10% attack boost or a 20% attack boost that you literally can just get from carding, which is very hilarious and extremely strong, right? The downside, obviously, is you could lose the whole quest if you faint twice for the, like, attack boost or whatever. I really wouldn't even recommend that unless Capcom inevitably releases a set or a skill that degens your health, and then once you can, like, you know, walk outside and, like, shoot your unlimited ammo until you cart twice really quick, that's when it's going to be for the Fortify meta, because I mean it's just as strong as it ever was, and a lot of skills are more nerfed than, you know, they've ever been, at least in the 5th gen. You know, in the 5th gen it was so easy to slot like every single offensive skill, right, and decoration. And the new system does tame us and hold us back a little bit, but it's probably for the best, because I feel like a lot of weapons, probably all the weapons to be honest with you, are front loaded. And what I mean by that is a lot of the damage and stuff is just, you know, if you make that full power weapon, there it is, right? You don't have to sit here and like build your set to become strong. I think a good example of that was the Hunting Horn in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. It was pretty weak until you started stacking all this crazy stuff to make the elemental damage insane. Whereas in this game, the Hunting Horn's still kind of weak and doesn't have any skill bloat for it yet to go crazy. And I think the elemental echo waves are underexplored, and I'm going to make a video on that next for sure. So if that's something that interests you, definitely hit that button, hit that subscribe button, because you'll be getting more Hunting Horn videos, Gunlance videos, set builds in general, and the like. So I hope this was a useful video for you guys. Kind of a short one, but you know, if you have any comments, let me know what your mix set is running Fortify. You know, have you been running Fortify already? So let me know in the comments. And again, definitely going to be making more videos soon, so subscribe, hit that bell. We'll definitely be sending out some notifications to you. Be doing some live streaming as well, both this game and a variety of content, including playing music and things to that degree. So if that's something that interests you, definitely hit that button. Alright, I've been Brian. Peace out.